Good belated Friday afternoon, everybody. Jim Williams here. Amedeus can't be with us. He's on assignment today. So we're going to talk about all the amazing stuff going on this weekend on television. So we'll get you up to date on what to watch, and you can mark it down, and that way you can flip between channels and enjoy pretty much anything and everything that's going on because we have an entire list of amazing events. Starting, by the way, on Saturday, if you're, I know it's been a few months since football's been played. So if you are interested in football, the UFL kicks off this weekend on Fox and on ESPN. So be sure to check out the the UFL. I'm sorry, I had to flash back to USFL, but no, it's UFL, and those football games will be played on Fox and then on ESPN. So check them out. Okay, all right. So we have a couple of headlines. One, the NBA is, as we have been following for months now, working on a new TV package. It is anticipated that ESPN ABC will be back in that role as a partner. It's anticipated that what we all used to know as the Turner networks, of course, TBS and TNT, they're going to be back in it with Warner Discovery in some way, shape, or form. It's likely, although we don't know yet, but it's likely that NBC will have something carved out. It's also there is a potential for Amazon, Apple, and even Netflix, who's kind of jumped into this recently, to perhaps have a streaming component to that. Now, as you know, ESPN is ESPN Plus, and TNT TBS has Max, so they have streaming partners. NBC, we all know Peacock, right? So they'll be simultaneously streamed, so you can get that. But a streaming alone component is not there now, and so I think the NBA might very well take a hint on it and give it a shot. So let's see, keep Netflix in the back of your mind, and as I said before, Amazon and Apple will be looking for an opportunity to get involved in the NBA. So that brings us to an interesting thing, and that is that the Pac-2, which is Oregon State and Washington State, are very close. As a matter of fact, will likely ink a deal with the CW, and the CW will nationally broadcast their games. They have 13 home games between them. So 13 Saturdays, you're going to have on CW, you're going to have either an Oregon State game or a Washington State game. And then, of course, all the other games, because they are playing this season with the Mountain West Conference, all of those games will be on CBS Sports Network. Okay. So that gets you up to speed on that. So let's kind of blow our way through here. We've got a lot to talk about. Let's start tonight. Okay. Tonight, Purdue Gonzaga. That game is a 7:10 tip on TBS. Stream it on Max. This, folks, is going to be interesting. Gonzaga and Purdue have played in many tournaments over the years against each other. At the end of the day, Gonzaga, this is going to be a tale of two styles. Gonzaga likes to run and shoot the three. Purdue, half court, and work it in to their big men in the center and try to win basketball games that way. Interesting game, Purdue Gonzaga. You can watch it on TBS. You can watch it and stream it on Max. All right. Surprise! NC State is the bracket buster here. It's most likely that this whole thing will come down tonight and end. NC State faces a very good Marquette team. Some people forget that it was Marquette who actually was the last team to beat UConn, what seems to be years ago. Okay, so Marquette's a good basketball team. They're healthy. They've been playing really well. NC State, does Cinderella continue? We'll have to find out. 7 p.m. CBS and Paramount Plus. Okay, so those are your two early games. Okay, now let's go to the late games. This one's a really an interesting game because it is two teams that are blue blood basketball. All right, you got Duke, you got Houston. Couldn't be more different if you tried. I mean, it's not. These two teams are incredibly different styles. Should be fun to watch. And the game, by the way, is on CBS and Paramount Plus. So tonight at 9:30, when the first game, Purdue and Gonzaga. I'm sorry, uh, NC State and Marquette get finished. Then it will be Duke and Houston around 9:30 ish. Okay. Then the nightcap on TBS and Max, Creighton, um, another good basketball team that nobody knows about, is playing against Tennessee, a team that is very physical, extremely athletic, and very entertaining. So that's your games for tonight. Creighton, Tennessee, 9:45 or abouts, as I said before. That will be a game that will follow the Purdue Gonzaga game. Okay, so somewhere around 9:45, that game's going to be played. Okay, all right. So what do we do tomorrow? Well, tomorrow, let's take a look. We got it's on TBS, True TV. Stream it on Max. It's 6 seed Clemson, 4 seed Alabama. Brian Anderson, Jim Jackson, Allie Force on the call. Clemson, Alabama. When you really think of these two teams, you think of college football and perhaps a national championship. It's not often that Alabama and Clemson make it to the Sweet 16, let alone one of these two getting into the Elite Eight. So we'll see. It's going to be, you know, definitely a bit of a tussle here between two pretty good basketball teams. I will be honest. I didn't think Clemson, deserved to be in the field, and they're proving me wrong all the time. Alabama, on the other hand, is extremely athletic, and they've got the good guard play. Alabama, obviously, a 4 seed should beat a 6 seed, but you never know. And Clemson has gone a long way. Let's see if they can continue the march or if it ends tonight. So that's on True TV. Allie LaForce and Brian Anderson, and that's a game that you're going to want to watch on Saturday. It's actually the late game on Saturday. All right, let's go back over Saturday on True TV. This one, Illinois and UConn. Right now, UConn looks like a juggernaut. I mean, they literally nobody's beaten UConn at this point unless they do it themselves. They have, get this, over the last 2 years in the tournament play against some pretty tough competition. They have not yet played a game where they have lost to anybody. Obviously, this is how you get to a championship. But what they've beaten their opponents by double digits in every game that they played. And last night, if you watch that game between San Diego State and UConn, no, man, they just watch how they work without the ball. It's amazing. They're phenomenal, phenomenal group of athletes, and they just are well coached by, Hurley's got himself a good basketball team up there. So to me, it's UConn's tournament to lose. And I don't think they're going to lose to Illinois. Now, we'll find out. That game's being played tomorrow. It's a 6:09 TBS tip, and you can stream it, as we said before, on Max. Okay? All right, cool. So, how about Premier League soccer? All right? Let's start with a doubleheader. Saturday's really kind of a bland mixture of soccer with regard to the Premier League. There's no real tasty, big name teams playing. So we skipped over to Sunday, because to me, that's the better group of games. So let's start off at 9 a.m. Liverpool is taking on a Brighton team that is really um, fun to watch. They've got they've got the talent to beat Liverpool. I doubt they will, but they do have the talent to beat Liverpool. That game is airing on USA and on Peacock Sunday early 9 a.m. It's an Easter morning while you're sitting around and enjoying your Easter basket. It's pretty good soccer game between Liverpool and Brighton. Okay, and again, that's on USA and on Peacock. We move over to the big one. This is on NBC and Peacock. Manchester City and Arsenal. This could very well be for first place on the table for the Premiership, and Man City has just been a machine, and Arsenal has played well. So this should be a very entertaining game. Once again, that's 11:30 NBC and on Peacock where you can stream it. So by all means, check that out. Okay, so let's move up. We have just started, huzzah, Major League Baseball, and Major League Baseball season began yesterday, and teams are playing today as we speak. So let's talk a little bit about what's going on. So tonight on Apple TV, you're going to get the Cardinals and the Dodgers. First pitch at about 10:10, but the game will be on Apple TV, and it's the Cardinals and the Dodgers. Now, see if you can find a pattern here, folks. Fox's primetime baseball on Saturday night is the Yankees and Houston, or the Padres and the Giants. Okay, so yet most of the country will see the Yankees take on Houston, and some parts of the country will see the Padres and the Giants. Okay, so that's your first Saturday night game on Fox. And then on Sunday Night Baseball, that's right, you get to see the ender of that 3-game series between the Cardinals and the Dodgers on ESPN and streaming on ESPN Plus. Okay, so there you go. All right, so we know we're going to have ourselves some good old fashioned. Yeah, hi, Sean. There you go. Hi, good to see you. Come aboard anytime you want. Okay, so anyhow, let's go back to what we're doing here, and that is soccer on Saturday. We said yesterday when Amadeus and I went through it, there's a full slate of soccer, and the MLS soccer games that we'll be seeing over the weekend are on Apple TV and on the MLS Season Pass. Okay, so if you're a soccer fan, and we said yesterday there's some really good soccer going on, you're going to want to watch it. It's on Apple TV, or you can buy your MLS Season Pass. Okay, so there you go from that. Now, let's talk a little bit about NASCAR this weekend. NASCAR is in Richmond. That's always entertaining. It's a fun course to run on. So there's some really good stuff going on there. So Saturday on FS1 at 1:00 Eastern time, it is the Xfinity race in Richmond, and then Sunday it's the Cup race at 3 p.m. on Fox. Okay, so Sunday 3 p.m. on Fox is the Cup race. 1:00 on Saturday is the Xfinity race. Both races, obviously, at Richmond's International Speedway. It's a very good track and challenging. So we'll get to see the Xfinity Series and the Cup Series both on the same track as usual. And Saturday Xfinity, Sunday it's Fox. How about golf? Well, glad you asked. We are playing the Houston Open as we speak. Golf Channel has all that action right now, along with Peacock. So if you want to watch some golf this afternoon, Peacock and Golf Channel are where you want to watch it. If you want to watch it on the weekends, well, again, Peacock, Golf Channel, and then NBC comes in around 2:00 for their coverage on Saturday and on Sunday. Okay, so the Greater Houston Open is your PGA golf for the weekend. Now, ESPN has beginning tonight and going all through the weekend and into next week, the women's part of all this. And the women have, you know, their tournament is very exciting and it's been pretty much chalk. So you get to see truly the best teams battle it out, head to head. So I encourage you to check out the listings for ESPN tonight, tomorrow, and Sunday, and early into next week, because they play on days opposite normally of the men. So that's why they have some midweek games and like that. So check out ESPN. Check out, see what's going on with the women's tournament. Also, don't want to forget they're getting close to the end of the NIT, which is also available on ESPN and ESPN Plus. So those are things you're going to want to watch. Now, I think it's important to mention that since the Major League Baseball season has started, that most of the teams now have a streaming element which you can get, either purchase it through your through the team themselves, or they have an app which can be downloaded, and then if you have cable, authenticated, and you can watch the games, on a streaming situation. The Major League Baseball also has their season package, which is, to be honest, if you're a baseball fan, is very, very, reasonable in that. So I'd let you check out whether you wanted to do it on a monthly basis, or if you wanted to go full on for the entire season. Okay, you have those options. So that's that. I think that a lot of fans are going to be watching the Dodgers this year. We saw that they got out of the box pretty good yesterday in that opener that they had against the Cardinals, and it's going to be a fun season for them. It's also going to be a fun season to see if who else can catch them, and they're a very talented team. So baseball's back. We haven't. We're going to get our first TBS game this coming Tuesday night. Remember that TBS moved their games to Sunday nights. A little later in the season, we're going to get Peacock, which gives us that 11 a.m. game, which, I know baseball fans enjoy, but we also know the players don't. So you play a Saturday night, and then you have to get to the ballpark at 8 o'clock in the morning, the next morning for an 11 o'clock, game. So going to be interesting from that standpoint. Let's see what else is going on in TV land. Pretty much that's it, although the NFL really wants to take a look at this potential, this merger between Fox Sports, ESPN Sports, and Warner Discovery Sports. Now, it's technically not a merger because they're basically sharing and streaming together and basically building a hub for all that sports. The NFL wants to know how this will affect it, because what happened is you've negotiated a rights deal, right? But the rights deal didn't have this, mishmash of three companies coming together to, basically offer a package of events from college football, basketball, a little bit of everything there, and NFL football. So they're going to want to know how this works, and if it's going to be necessary for them, meaning the networks, should they wish to do the NFL games on this new platform, if they can do it and not have to be charged for, not get another rights fee. So we'll see. I mean, the NFL is looking at this. My guess is, and it's just a guess, is that the NFL will let them take a pass here and just kind of see what kind of situation comes of it. I think they can take, the NFL's got enough money, they can have a wait and see opportunity here. And I think that we're going to see that wait and see opportunity when it comes to this new venture that so many people are getting involved in. So we'll check it out. We'll see if they're, if they're interested. Look, it always comes down to the money, you guys. We know that. And I think baseball's looking at this and going, I'm sorry, the NFL's looking at this and going, okay, here, are we, did we sign agreements with these teams and, these groups, basically ESPN and Fox, because, Warner Discovery doesn't have any football. So it's really Fox and ESPN. And do they have, or should they have the rights to do this? We'll see. We will see how that works out. I would imagine that they would take this and look at it like a cable package, where they're bundling things like that. So I think that there's ways that ESPN and Fox can get around it, but never let it be said that Roger Goodell and and the NFL doesn't attempt to get every last penny out of their partners as best they can, which that's their job, right? Okay, so there's that. Let's see, anything else going on? The ACC, all right. Do not expect the ACC to crumble like the Pac-12 did. And let me explain here. We know that FSU probably is out the door. I mean, when I say probably, I mean they want to go. ACC doesn't care. Let them go. I'm not throwing shade on the FSU. They have every right to do it. Is in the best interest of the university. And if they think that's leaving the ACC to go to someplace, whether it's the Big Ten, likely the Big Ten, that's up to them. Clemson, same thing. North Carolina, same thing. Talking about the linchpin, could North Carolina be the linchpin that the whole thing falls down? No, it's not. If you want, and you should have done this years ago. If you want, I would suggest that if North Carolina left, that they quickly expand and add UConn. UConn basketball is better than North Carolina basketball. Okay, let's be honest about it. Over the last decade, the success of UConn versus the success of North Carolina, it's not even close. UConn is a better program. Now, I know you guys are screaming football, football, football. Look, when Texas and Oklahoma left the Big 12, what did Bob Bowlesby, who was then the commissioner, do? He went out and got the best non-Power 5 schools that he could find, which was Cincinnati, which was Central Florida, which was Houston, and BYU. So I would suggest that besides UConn, that they grab South Florida. I know my alma mater, and I'm being a little bit prejudiced on this. Memphis wouldn't be a bad get. Again, good basketball and good football. And Tulane. Tulane's coming up. It gives them a footprint. Obviously they have the Florida market with Miami, but I think that these teams want to stay together. And don't forget that Notre Dame is involved in the ACC on the area of the Olympic sports, but they are contractually obligated to play against ACC football. So I don't think ESPN is going to want to lose, Notre Dame sports, and specifically Notre Dame football. So I think that I don't believe that the imminent disaster that would be take the ACC out is as it was every person for themselves in the Pac-12, and frankly, in fairness, it was decades of problems that just kept festering until, the bottom fell out when USC and UCLA left, and then, they couldn't get a TV deal put together in that package. There is a TV deal in place. There's also the opportunity for ESPN, should they wish to do, in 2027 to renegotiate the contract with the league, the ACC, which they could do. Now, we also saw that they had a sublicense, a series of games to the CW, who carried those games. All right, didn't make a lot of money on it, but if you sublicense to Amazon, or you sublicense to Apple, or you sublicense to Fox or NBC or anybody who's interested, if you think about this, how much would NBC pay the ACC in a rights fee if they got all the Notre Dame games? So the games that they play with ACC competition, plus the games that they play at home, would give NBC just about every Notre Dame football game. And as I said before, why perhaps Apple would do it? Why? Because, well, Tim Cook went to Duke, and Stanford, of course, is a big, proponent of what goes on at Apple. Apple and Stanford are thick as thieves. I could certainly see somebody paying ESPN a nice little piece of change for for basically buying a package of games that they sublicense to them. So don't forget that's quite possible, and it's something that I wouldn't rule out. Okay, so things to look forward to in the not too distant future. All right, everybody. We know baseball season started. Games this weekend. Golf's continuing. Follow it, no problem. UFL is started. We'll see how that plays out. You've got auto racing. You've got soccer, both here in the United States and over in England and beyond. There's obviously games throughout Europe and South America, which will be airing over the weekend. You really, if you're a sports fan, and of course we have March Madness, if you're a sports fan, you have more than you can say grace over this weekend. I hope that you all have a lovely, safe, and enjoyable holiday weekend. And we will be back, Amadeus and I, on Monday. But until that time, for Amadeus, I'm Jim. We'll see you on Monday, guys.